Uh,
It's us. We're here. It's Tuesday. We're back.
It is.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. I'm always excited to be here with you.
It is awesome.
Whoa! I forgot to press the mute button like a fool.
I just did that too, and it's lucky
There we go. Okay, we're back now.
Oh man, there's things.
You know how they have those signs out in front of buildings like so many days since the last accident?
we just did
we're always 6 days, and then we have our show, and then kaboom, we screw something up.
Yeah, but we were doing so well up until that point. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are being transmitting live right now to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. If you have any questions or comments, please click the link to go to Show One out on the YouTube channel, because that's going to make it a lot easier for us to follow, because there's just only so many of us to follow all that chat.
Yeah. It gets overwhelming, man. I mean, it's like when, somebody wants to contact me, they do it on Facebook, they do it on email or multiple email addresses, phone, text. It's like, come on, pick one.
Yeah, I mean, just be like that guy who stands outside my window and just stares in at me all the time. I mean, he's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Except when he pulls his pants down. That's just a little bit weird. I mean, just saying, dude. Shave that.
See, there's a John Young you guys don't know. And
shave that hairy thing
right here.
Yeah.
You got to watch it.
Well, we've got some cool stuff we're going to be talking about. We're going to start off this is kind of a request night tonight, where we've had somebody asking, we talked about some of the yacht rock songs. If you don't know what that is, you can check that out. But it was kind of the soft pop from the 70s and 80s, and we put together a really kind of a nice list. And then they said, hey, can you go and jump into the 2000s? Well, you want us to talk about music?
Yeah, on Tuesdays?
Gosh, I don't know. Could we maybe yeah.
I'll make an exception this one time.
Yeah, this one time. Well, we will, but after this, we're never
again. Next week it's back to cheese.
Exactly. We're going to just do that. So thank you for joining us. We've got Buttery's in there, Cool Hand, and Daniel are in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be going through some songs. I made a list today, Brian. I went through, and as I did give Brian just a little bit of a heads up what I was doing, because a lot of the songs that when we went through and did our year by year thing we did a little while ago, some of the songs that I would choose for this list tonight are in those videos. And we actually talked about using them kind of in a cocktail. So I didn't really want to be repeating that type of information. So I took it from kind of 2006 to 2010, which gave me actually really kind of a nice list of songs.
It's an okay cross section.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just going to kind of bounce around and talk a little bit about some of the, back and forth with the songs that we kind of picked out that and where we'd put them, because some things are going to be wedding appropriate, some things are certainly not wedding appropriate, but they're good, a toe tapper. Some things might go earlier in the cocktail time. Some things might be kind of a transition to the dance. There might be something when that big person walks across the dance floor and you want to just push that envelope a little bit. There might be a song in there like that too.
I think that you can take more liberties during cocktail than you can during dinner and dancing with your music sometimes. It just feels that way to me.
I think so.
It's so background for cocktail. It's, whatever. But we do more than just weddings. I mean, there are other events that we do, corporate events and parties and reunions and things like that. So this is all valid. I mean, there's some stuff that, absolutely not wedding appropriate just because of not because it's particularly an offensive song, but it's just not about love and happy, and sometimes they're about breakup and heartache and things like that, which is more than half of every song on the radio.
We love those songs.
Yeah.
So let's start with one of those. I've got one of those just right off the bat, and I have a little bit of an interesting story about that one. The song came out, I think it was about 2007, somewhere in that ballpark, from Hinder, Lips of an Angel. Ballad song. It's a nice kind of slow song, and it's got a catchy hook. Ironically, this particular there's no way you're going to play this at a wedding because of what he's singing about.
Right.
Yet I had this requested. It was probably about 2010 as a first dance.
Really?
Yes.
I think I've had it requested too. Come to think of it, I've had some weird stuff requested.
Yeah, and I would put this as a weird one.
I had somebody ask for Careless Whisper one time. If you're familiar with that song.
Yeah.
It's a breakup song.
Yeah, it's not so.
Yeah, and the other one was, they wanted that one. They wanted Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. It was just one 80s breakup song after another.
Yeah.
I love the tunes, but
For that moment, yeah, not exactly.
so I called them. I'm like, hey, you realize that every song that you picked here, they're great songs, but they're breakup songs. We don't care. We just like them.
We just like the songs.
We just like them. Okay, cool. That's your call. This is your party. I wouldn't pick those songs just because somebody might say, hey, what's he doing?
Yeah.
But if the client wants them, hey,
You must be wanting to break them up, man.
They're good tunes.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And it's all association with this music, too. I mean, a lot of times something that is, we talk about Brown Eyed Girl about every week. We mention it. It's all association. When this little girl was little, the dad probably heard the song and says, oh, Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, my little girl's got brown eyes. Oh, it reminds me of her.
Not.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't want to be the music cop. I hate being the music police. So I think it's cool that we can take liberties here and there. And I don't know.
That we can. So what kind of things would top your list here from that era?
Well, I'm actually breaking the rules a little bit here. I want to go back a little further because I think there was some real solid, and I'm not going, yacht rock doesn't exist anymore. Just to make that 100% clear.
Yeah, and to define yacht rock for the crowd, the
yacht rock
era
is kind of like, the way I would describe it would be kind of the last hurrah of the singer-songwriter crew. So you had people like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You had people like Christopher Cross. You had people like Rupert Holmes and folks like that back in the late 70s, early 80s. They came out of the 60s folk era. That's what they did. They were like the up and coming folk music people. But as the 70s hit and the whole hippie thing went away, they grew up and they started doing very good music. I mean, very, very talented musicians. You had people like Carole King in that. She was a songwriter for years, and then she started doing her own stuff. A lot of people. It was kind of soft rock. We talked about England Dan and John Vorkold. We had all those people.
Yeah.
But that was kind of what yacht rock was. It was well crafted songs by singer-songwriters.
And during that kind of late 70s, early 80s time frame.
Right. Now, not everybody who did a yacht rock tune wrote their own tune. I mean, but that was kind of the influence. It was the singer-songwriter influence, whole thing. Andrew Gold and all that stuff. So it's hard to say what yacht rock is today or what the equivalent of it would be. I've always said it was country. That's kind of where it went. But none of those people write their own music. I mean, not many of them. Most of them are buying their songs. It was really funny back in the 90s. You would hear like I Swear by All for One, and then like John Michael Montgomery would do it too. Exactly the same song, one on the country chart, one on the pop chart.
Yeah.
Same tune. But when I think about the adult contemporary stuff, when I think about the rock stuff, and for some reason, anything by Rob Thomas comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
As far, and I know that Rob Thomas was more the turn of the millennium, but I think that's still very relevant for that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff I think is would be the equivalent of what we were talking about for yacht rock back in the old days.
I think so. I definitely think so. And he has numerous hits that would fit into this whole
Bent, or even what he did with Santana, Smooth, Perfect, or even Game of Love that Santana did. We talked about those tunes in those earlier shows, but those qualify. Those I think are the only equivalent that we can find for what we may kind of consider yacht rock today, unless there's country in there too. You can definitely use a lot of country for that too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was a very vague answer, but a long one.
Well, no, that's good, and that's part of it. I mean, you're finding as we're going through, there's some artists that really fit this kind of a cocktail category. At this particular period of time, you've got some tunes from Kelly Clarkson that fit in that. They weren't great dance tunes, but like Walk Away was one that's a little bit upbeat, but not quite to the point of dancing. Right. I think there was another one that she came out with. Well, there's quite a few of them in that time frame.
And there, I don't know, Trouble of Love comes to mind. There are lots.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, that's my input for my turn here. I just want to make it clear. Yacht rock doesn't exist, but the adult contemporary equivalent to that is so. And there's lots of stuff. And I don't want to blow stuff on your list.
Yeah, no, that's quite right. Another artist that would be really popular for this list, and it's more the adult contemporary artist, he's like the poster child for adult contemporary right now, is John Mayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, back in the mid 2000 in 2006, he had Waiting for the World to Change. I mean, he's had any number of songs, but he's, again, something popular from John Mayer. You're going to have some moms out there who remember that and think that's just the most awesome music ever.
Yes, of course. And playing off of that would be like Dave Matthews Band.
Yep.
That would be like anything that Dave Matthews Band does. And they had music that spanned about a decade, I suppose.
Yeah.
Popular stuff. That stuff is definitely, right. It's going to fit right in with what John was talking about with John Mayer. Right.
Yeah. Very much so. During that late 2000s, Nickelback had a couple of different songs, and they aren't exactly the worst songs in the world.
No, their Photograph was really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of tunes by Nickelback that would be perfect.
And I still don't completely grasp the whole why I hate why everyone hates Nickelback. Why they've gotten such a bad rap. I
don't hate them like I hate 2 Chainz. Not the same kind of hate.
It's a different despise.
Yeah.
It's a despise.
No, I don't have a problem with Nickelback. I'm not going to sit around and listen to it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's just interesting how that is. It's such a.
Who's the biggest adult contemporary artist today that would fit in this category, in your opinion, John? Who's the biggest one, or who are the biggest ones?
Boy, you're still.
I mean, today, not 15 years ago, right now.
Right at this very moment, I think Justin Bieber stuff has crossed over into that part of the charts. I think almost, he's got at least 2, maybe 3 songs in the AC Top 40.
Yeah. See, I go with Adele.
And Adele, yeah, Adele would be.
She's like the biggest right now, who has hits, big songs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's just out of curiosity. Justin Timberlake, but
yeah, there are some Justin Timberlake songs.
Pink, I think Pink is one for a current artist. She's really crossed over, and you hear more of her things on the AC charts than you do on Top 40.
I think the AC charts aren't what they used to be. I mean, a long time ago, the AC charts were like Neil Sedaka.
Yeah.
Now it's just not 2 Chainz.
Yeah, and it's got there's a little bit of like a latency to it. So okay,
who's it for? I mean, who were these charts for? You and me, I think.
Yeah, to the 40-year-old crowd instead of
dad people.
Yeah,
and I'm a dad guy, so I have an adult child, so I think that qualifies me as someone who they're building AC charts for.
Yeah, just for you. And they've even broken it down, so if you think you're hot, they have the hot AC chart, or they've got the regular AC. So you got that going.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, the weekend. Really, though, David mentions the weekend, and Daniel mentions Seal. It's the AC charts today have just become a little bit of a lag and missing 2 Chainz. They don't have much for kind of the rappy type stuff or EDM things.
No Fetty Wap.
But you will see pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
It's almost
it's all there. And Taylor Swift, before the crossover into whatever the hell she's doing now, when it was kind of country light, it's perfect for what we're talking about.
Oh, for sure. I was going through in that, it's like, goodness, that one would work. That one would work.
Yeah.
Just incredible the amount of, you think about the amount of songs she's had that we would know at her age is really, if she can keep that kind of a pace up, she is going to definitely be one of the major musical influences for her generation, for sure.
Oh yeah. I'm afraid she's going to turn into another Mariah Carey.
Yeah. I
just have that feeling where she had a really nice career going on, and now she's going to go all Miley Cyrus on us. I just get this feeling.
Time will tell. If all of a sudden she's swinging back and forth on a ball, we'll know.
How shocking can we be?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Kanye, what can you do to get me some more publicity?
Please. No, but that's where I think you're going to be picking these tunes from, is that AC and hot AC chart like you're talking about. Anything that's not hip hop, anything that's pop-ish, So the country crossover stuff's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Speaking of country crossover, I was thinking about this. We never talked about this. And I wanted to throw it out there just on one of our music shows. Crossover music, right?
Yep.
There was a song that spontaneously was on the top 10 of the country chart, the pop chart, and the R&B chart. Do you know what it was?
No.
Stuck on You by Lionel Richie.
See the three charts again.
Pop,
Yep.
country, and R&B.
It was on country too?
Yes. That was on that Stuck on You by Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
Play that in your head. That is a country song.
Yeah, I guess. Now you mention it.
Charted on the country charts.
I'll be darned. I wouldn't. I wouldn't have thought that. I would have never known that.
Just an oddity. Lionel Richie of all people. So,
just to make you mentions, Michael Bublé, he came out in 2000. Let's see, it started charting in 2010 with I Haven't Met You Yet.
Yeah.
And that's, he's just become kind of a poster child for that cocktail time.
Right.
Except in a cool way, not in a one of these saxophone players with the long hair, kind of a creepy way.
Cool Hand 68 mentioning Shania Twain. She was perfect She was crossover in the 90s. Was country crossover in the 90s. Absolutely. And that stuff all qualifies for, and we say contemporary, and John's trying to go within the last 10 years.
Yep.
We're going back 20 years with Shania Twain with her too.
For sure. Yep. She was mid 90s and there was a lot of things, and the people know it. That's probably one of the things you need to have in this is you want to have something that people recognize. They may not remember it word for word, but they want to be, all
those tunes. And there were different versions of them. There were pop versions and country versions and dance versions. I have a lot of them. And I think I play like 4 different Shania Twain songs. Like, quite a bit. Still to this day.
Okay. Any Man of Mine, you mentioned that.
Okay, Any Man of Mine, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, that don't impress me much, and You're Still the One.
Okay. That don't impress me much is one that's surprising me. Or that was one I was trying to figure what the fourth one was.
Yeah, well that's hot too. I mean, I still play it once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's going to fit. And it's cool to use those crossover tunes, especially like that one has a country version and a pop version.
Yep, had a little bit more.
Very dancey track. And you can use that as a transitional song to go from either a top 40 to country set or a country to top 40 set. It's pretty nice. Or even dance. It's just a cool crossover track.
Let's see, Coldplay. Yeah, Coldplay fits into this.
Yes.
This area. Kenny G. Yeah, he's one of the creepy saxophonist.
He's the one I remember I had the Kenny G CD and I would just play it. Yeah. That was dinner music.
Yeah. How many times?
Dinner music, you get Kenny G. You get an evening with Kenny G if dinner goes long because I'll just repeat the disc.
Yeah. No one will know.
It was like David Sanborn, which isn't much better. I feel sorry for Kenny.
Let's see. Fergie had a couple of hits in this section. And there's something with Fergie songs that some of them are a little bit on the edgy, but they kind of can fit into this era, and they also can appeal to that kind of 30 to 40-year-old female who would have heard these songs, and kind of, again, it's kind of that toe tapper with
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I don't know, my observation on this, if we were to do a set of old music and we were to play something from 1955 and then we were to play something from 1975, it wouldn't make any sense. It's a 20-year time span. It wouldn't work. You could totally do that with 2006 and 1996. It flows nice. You can do something today by Adele and you can follow it up with something that Aerosmith came out in the mid-90s, and it works. Oddly enough, the formula hasn't changed that much in the last 20 years where this stuff all just kind of, it works well together.
Yeah, exactly. There's completely, and granted, yes, if you go pick something from Aerosmith and then you want to come back with something from maybe trying to think of one that I had on Closer from Neo.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it's not a dance song, but it's a really kind of a cool song in itself that could be used in a right situation.
Right.
Yeah, those are different enough. But most of the things when we're talking that adult contemporary, kind of a popish song instead of more of a urban feel to the music,
Sure.
it really fits in. And you mentioned crossover. There are some country songs that just go over well. Jason Aldean had some things that is still out there that goes over well. There was another one up here that came out. Maybe it's down there. Lady Antebellum.
Mm-hmm.
They were a crossover, and they had both other songs hitting on the charts on both sides at the same time. Yeah. Just it's interesting how the big cowboy hat doesn't chase away.
No, it doesn't. It's a costume at this point. It has nothing to do with people who are actually herding cattle. It's just it hasn't for a long time. It has everything to do with just a more safe, conservative type of music.
Yeah.
So most of the time. Sometimes it gets weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes country gets really weird. I've heard some weird stuff lately. Country rap. I'm starting to hear country EDM. Have you heard this yet?
I don't know. I'm not the EDM part. I've heard the
getting weird, dude.
The rap I've heard,
and it's getting weird.
Well, 2 years ago, I was starting to play a couple of guys who were rapping, country boys rapping, and
yeah, Florida Georgia Line. Somebody mentioned. The other one would be. Oh, geez, I'm trying to pull my country people out of my head here. Who's that band?
The band Perry. They've trying to think of who has crossed over. Recently,
even if it hasn't particularly crossed over, it's so popular that people know it anyway. Yeah. Even if not particularly being played on top 40 radio.
Well, then you can get into Little Big Town with Pontoon is one that is well known, but not fast enough to do anything with.
Zach Brown Band.
Zach, yep, he's got some with his toes in his.
And anyone who sings the song Wagon Wheel, there are two different people who do it. Old Crow Medicine Show and somebody with a really goofy millennial name. The black dude.
Well, yeah, Darius.
Darius, there you go.
From Hootie.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah. Yep. Darius Rucker.
Anyway. That's the dude from Hootie? That's who is that?
Yeah, he's the one who does doing Wagon Wheel.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought I saw somebody posted on Facebook that they were Hootie and the Blowfish are supposed to be performing somewhere or just performed somewhere, and they had tickets to it, which I found that kind of interesting. I did not know that they were still doing their thing.
Wow.
Some other artists.
Nickelback of the 90s.
Nickelback of the 90s.
People love to hate them,
Yeah. Could that have been somebody like a winger? Or would that have been pushing into the 80s? That'd have been the 80s.
And it wouldn't have been Winger. It would have been probably, oh boy, let me pull this out. Who would have been the Hootie of the 80s?
Not the Hootie you were talking.
We're going Nickelback to Hootie to
Nickelback, the band basically from the 90s that people just hated on.
Well, it was Hootie. They made fun of Hootie.
Yeah, I guess I could see it.
Because it was like pre Dave Matthews Band, who then people started making fun of them.
But Hootie came on, didn't he release it? And like 2 years later is when the disc actually hit.
I don't remember.
I thought there was like a lag time.
Could have been
because I didn't know the early Hootie or when it first was released, but by the time it started to get radio play up in our neck of the woods, I mean, people were, oh my God, they're the most greatest thing ever. It's like, shut up.
We had all those dumb little festivals over here, and those bands would come.
Yeah.
I remember somebody didn't show, I forget who it was, at a festival, and I was there to see Duran Duran, and the consolation prize was Dave Matthews Band. I'd never heard of them before. This was, oh boy, 94, 95, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Twisted Mickey mentions Carrie Underwood, who's been back in between charts back and forth.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Any of that country crossover stuff, back and forth, but again, not yacht rock. It's got a very different vibe to it, but it's going to give you the same overall effect.
Charleston Music mentioned that Hootie and the Blowfish perform every year in South Carolina to raise money for school supplies.
Oh, nice.
We learned something.
All right.
Very cool. We've got some Brett Eldridge and Thomas Rhett, R&B influenced country. I've heard.
See, it's getting weird, man. It's getting real weird.
I'd have to listen to that. I have to dig into that a little bit more. A couple more bands I want to talk about before we wrap up this session. Maroon 5.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good stuff in that arena.
Yeah.
Would you consider them more of an AC band that came, an adult contemporary band that moved into and has a couple of pop hits, or are they a pop band that has more adult contemporary hits?
I always perceived them as kind of a teen band. Like the first hit, when I heard This Love, that just had the Disney Channel written all over it to me. That was like a tween song, a teen pop song. And then I think they got a little more edgy and a little more edgy top 40. That's how I perceived it. I didn't see it as somebody who was chasing after AC crowds, but it worked for AC crowds.
Oh, it was huge for that. Yeah, and you mentioned someone who gets played a lot. That's one. And the other one I wanted to talk about was Train.
Yeah.
Train is, has a long list of songs and that have hit the AC charts, and some that are still in play on the recurrent stations, the AC recurrents yet today.
Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of new stuff out there you can pull out, and I think it's a lot of fun if you can find those tunes that you don't hear every day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a hit a few years ago, you haven't heard it for a few years. That's the cool song to play at your party. Oh yeah, that tune.
And for those of you watching, I took the list of different songs that I pulled out today, and I moved those over into the description below the YouTube video, so you guys can go check those out. And we're talking about a few of them here, and there's some that are in there that are, and there's some that are going to be more of maybe an early time. There's going to be some that are more of a corporate type cocktail time. There's going to be some that are maybe starting to work your way into the dance time frame. There's just a variety of different songs there, but I wanted to kind of give a flavor of what type of songs that we were talking and looking at during this.
I'm glad somebody did, because I didn't do my homework on. I apologize.
You were busy working. You had a busy day.
I improv this one.
Last one, and then we're going to switch over. Plain White Tees. What's up with that?
That's.
I mean, I still have people who just love the Hey There Delilah song, and came out 2007. So we're talking it's 9, possibly 10 years old from release.
Right. They always reminded me of like Bowling for Soup.
Yeah.
That I don't. They said they were alternative, but it all just sounded like Weird Al Yankovic outtakes to me. it's really what it sounded like.
Weird Al Yankovic.
They didn't make the Weird Al album, so they gave it to those guys. And they kept the vocals half the time, too, the Weird Al vocals.
So what should we do? Hey, let's just give it to these guys. They'll make a song.
1985.
It'll be great, man. It'll be great.
But no, that stuff is hot. I mean, that's perfect. That works. It's non-threatening pop music, and that's all it is.
That's what it is, yeah, and that's what most of that list is. So, gang, we're going to put the link for the show number 2. It's going into the YouTube chat right now. It should be in the description below. You guys can take a look at that. Brian needs to go get himself another Coke, and we will be back with you in about 2 to 3 minutes here with our question and answer time.